Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Welcome to our human sustainability. What's going on, OHS community? We have our first official partnership that I've ever had, and it's something that I really believe in, and so I wanted to share it with all of you. If you're like me and you're trying to read more books, I highly recommend the website and app called Blinkist. What Blinkist does is it takes 3,000 to 4,000 really popular nonfiction books and summarizes them in about 15 minutes for you to be able to take a look at either reading or listening to them. Normally, before I read any books, I will just use the Blinkist to see if it's something that I'm going to be interested in. And after I've read the books, maybe a couple weeks later, I'll go back and read the Blinkist again just to make sure I really remember everything that I learned from the book. So basically, for the cost of less than a book every single month, you'll have access to 3,000 to 4,000 nonfiction books out there for you. Click my link below for 20% off. All right, so by now, if you've made it this far down the path with me, you might be wondering what human sustainability actually is. So in this episode, we're going to peel back this onion just a little bit more to define it. I've shared a few graphics now around the 4 pillars of human sustainability. I'll put them all around me here somewhere. I've also shared an umbrella of what is encompassing in human sustainability. Again, I'll toss them around on here. But still, when people hear the buzzword sustainability, they just can't get past the environmental part. So I've been using the analogy one life, one planet, just like sustainability. There's so many different definitions of sustainability out there, but the one that I like best is sustainability as the capacity to endure. Our planet has to endure and we have to endure. Hence my take on human sustainability. Now, I did not come up with the term itself, but it does encompass what I've become passionate about this year. Now, the first time I saw this term is when I read Jeffrey Pfeffer's book, Dying for a Paycheck. I'll make sure that there's a link below somewhere for you to be able to snag a copy of the book, or you can just use Blinkist. Pfeffer asked a very important question. Where are the people in the sustainability movement? When you think of land development or commercial properties being built or any form of construction, it's pretty standard that there's a ton of, sustainable environmental aspects and forms and tons of reports that you have to fill out to be able to build. And rightfully so. We have to preserve the planet any chance we get. But Pfeffer brought up a story about how in 2010, the grocery store Safeway was beginning to do some renovations to one of its stores in California. In doing this, they had to file a ton of reports on how this renovation would impact the environment around it, and also making the structure as green as humanly possible. Not included in any of these reports was the impact of the actual people. Safeway employed hundreds of people, all of which would be out of work for at least a year while the renovations were taking place. This was 2010, right after the economic collapse. Now, a few of those Safeway employees were offered positions at other Safeways in the surrounding areas, but it's really going to impact your life if you have to travel to a completely different Safeway, or all the people that actually weren't offered as well. The point of this story is we have all of these reports and all of these processes around companies that need to build or they want to begin construction somewhere in the community. But the part of the community that we don't care or talk about is the people that are going to be impacted. Sure, we need to protect clean air and clean water, but we also need to protect the people. Pfeffer pushed on about General Motors, how they always brag about how they're #1 in patents for renewable energy, and they're top 5 in solar construction. But behind all the great environmental stuff, you can see that GM has gouged its employees with their benefits and with their pay. And after the last decade or so, how the actual work environment affects the physical and mental health of their employees. Or how Walmart touts all of its accomplishments in waste and energy, and it's notorious for having a terrible living wage, the lack of benefits or no benefits for its employees, period, and scheduling that makes it almost impossible for someone with a family to coordinate taking their kids to school or picking them up or childcare or all of those things because they just don't know when their schedule is going to happen. We've got to a place in society where we care more about the sustainability of a building and the life of a building than we have about the actual sustainability of the person or the people working in the building. There's so much that goes into a person living a great life. And these are just a few examples of what gets overlooked a lot of the times in today's culture. So I am here to spread awareness about topics like this. And hopefully you begin to see the world around you on whether it helps you or hurts you as a human being. Not a scientist or a doctor, just a normal guy in a quest to better himself.